welcome to Pick Money. I appreciate you jumping on. We're going to talk today about your plan, your game plan for you to be able to pick success, pick money, pick financial freedom, pick financial stability. It really matters what you want and what your goal is, because where people often get screwed up is they're trying to live somebody else's goal. There were people around me that want to make obnoxious amounts of money, no money. I knew what I wanted. Early on, I want to pay my bills. I want to not worry about money. And then when I got there, I was like, okay, cool. I pay my bills. Now I want to find a way to experience other things in life that require money. But I didn't have a set goal. I wasn't like, I'm going to make $80 million a year. Then I was like, all right, cool. I'm getting close to making $1 million a year. I want to make $1 million a year. Right? 20 grand a month. Then I started becoming really goal oriented on what can I make for me and my family as I make a lot of other people a lot of money. So it's very focused on them making a lot of money. And I'm like, all right, 20 grand a week is $1 million a year. I can remember making $1 million, $2 million a year, $5 million a year. But and then the same goal applied where I was like, dude, I want to live my life and not worry about money. I want to be financially free. I want to provide for my family. But at the end of the day, it also was, I want to help other people do this. So I never lost that. And I think that's a guiding principle to leadership. I think you lead people when you continue to put their needs equal or in front of yours. You lead them when you put their needs equal to or in front of yours. When you put your needs first always, like if I don't make this and I don't make this, I don't make this, I don't make this, I'm not going to help them, then I don't think they're going to follow you. And after a while, they're going to know you're only really worried about what you're doing. That's not leadership. That's a guy taking a walk. You start walking, ain't nobody following. You're a dude taking a walk. You're not a leader, just so you know. You want to know if you're a leader? As you're moving forward, look around, turn back, see if anybody's following you. There ain't nobody following me because you ain't leading nobody. But if you look back and there's a bunch of people following, you are a leader. I promise you. So understanding, though, what is your why? And the problem when we hear that for broke people, broke-minded people, when I got into business, I remember I was probably 21 years old. And a guy said to me, what's your why? And I can remember talking to people I knew at the time, other 21-year-olds, people in my family, my aunts and uncles, my mom, my dad, just people around me. And I remember how stupid they thought that was. I was like, what do y'all think your why is? They're like, my why? What does that even mean? How dumb is that? Who asked you that? Somebody in one of your self-help groups? Why do you talk that way? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, and it hit me at that time. I never gave a shit what they thought anyway, but that didn't validate I already wasn't going to care what they thought, but it validated they didn't know shit. Like I already wasn't going to listen because I wasn't sure. And I was like, I'm only going to let people speak in my life that like financially that are where I want to be. But then it validated that they don't know shit, like about shit. So I knew my why. My why, as it remains, provide for my family in a way where we don't have to worry about money. Once I got there, my why modified to help as many people do the same and achieve the same thing as I have. Period. End of story. Number one. Number two, knowing your financial situation, whatever your budget is, how liquid are you? What money do you have to put into your business? What capital do you have access to? Should you borrow money? Should you not? What are the terms? Should you take on a partner? Should you give up equity? Like, what are you looking to do? And I think that you really have to know where you sit on that. Like, what is my financial situation? What can I spend on this endeavor? What can I spend on my business? What can I spend on my independent contractor job? What can I spend on my entrepreneurial journey? Like, what can I spend on these things? What is your butt? What do you have access to? And do you necessarily need more access to more money? Everybody's always like, well, I had more money. I'm like, what would you have done with it? I always like when somebody's like, if I had more money when I started, I would have been better off. I go, cool. What would you have done with your money? And they're silent because it wasn't lack of capital. It was lack of work. It was lack of intestinal fortitude. It was lack of analyzing your ROI and everything. What's my return on investment on every single thing I do? That's what it was. Pure and simple. Nothing more, nothing less. What is your goal? You knew mine. My goal was to provide. What is your financial, your money, your income goal? And if you go, it's not about money. Dude, we live, whatever country you live in. If you're watching this podcast, I think the majority of the countries that people are watching are capitalistic society. So you live in a situation where capitalism prevails. Money is important. Nobody said it's the only thing, but it is a very important thing. And the people that tell you it's not important, they ain't got no money. That's why they tell you it's not important, because they ain't got any. And that's their go-to. I ain't got none, so why do you need to have any? Money is everything. Money's the root of all this. No, it's not. You can do some amazing things with money when you give it to and provide for people that ain't got none. One of the most rewarding things you will do. But what is your income goal? What are your financial goals? What are you looking to achieve? Once I was rolling and hit my goal, then it was like, all right, now, and I didn't have an immediate money goal right then and there, but it's like, I'm making this much, it costs me this much to live, and when I make this much, I have a very comfortable living, I don't worry about money, and now there's other things I want to do in my life. Then, once I started making 10, 15 grand a week, I was like, then I could see $1 million. Then I was like, 20 G's a week, $1 million a year. 20 G's a week, $1 million a year. It's over $1 million, I got that, but 20 G's a week, $1 million a year. Got it, life is good, I'm in. So at the end of the day, what is your money goal? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you willing to give up? The number one reason people don't succeed financially is not what they aren't willing to do, it's what they're not willing to give up. What are the things you're giving up? Is it time with people where there's no return on that? Is it partying too much? Is it sleep? Is it I like to be comfortable and trying this makes me uncomfortable? What are you willing to give up? It's not what you won't go do. It's the things you won't give up. Number 4, understanding the numbers in your business. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. Know your numbers. Like on here, it ain't do the math, bro. It's know your numbers. Know your numbers. What are your numbers? Know your business. If you buy X amount of inventory at this price, you can make this amount when you move it. How long will it take you to sell it? What are the obstacles with additional cost? And why do you believe that? Have you done that over and over again for years? There's another company doing it. Know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And if you don't know your numbers and don't know your business, somebody else out there knows your business better than you, and they're competing with you, which means they're working hard every day to take market share from you. What that means is they're trying to put you out of business. When you're in business and you have competition, the nice thing for them to say is, we're competing with you, there's enough for everybody. What they're saying is we want to take away all your market share and either run you into a place where we acquire you because we're the big boy, or you just go away because we kind of like being the only one out here. It's business. It's okay. Know your numbers. Know your business. Know what you're spending. And the last thing is you need to develop your skills. You need to develop your skill set. I don't care how many people tell you that business or sales requires talent. They're all lying to you. I know more than all of them because if they say that, they're complete idiots. They're wrong. Business and sales does not require talent. Hard work, invest in yourself, the ability to grow, what we just talked about here, and staying focused on your why always, knowing what you got for money to spend, getting money to spend, being very specific with your goals, monetarily, knowing your numbers, and developing your skills. None of those are a talent. Not one. There's too many people in America sitting on the sidelines watching other people get rich, and what they're saying to themselves is, he is talented. You will meet me and listen to me talk, and you'll go, he's talented. No, I've developed this because I've known my why, because I worked my ass off to make money to spend, knew my numbers, like I was sure about my goals, and I've continued today to develop. You speak well in front of people. I've spoken in front of people thousands and thousands of times all over America. Audience of 1 to an audience of 15, 16,000. I've done it thousands of times. Well, I don't know how I'm going to be comfortable with people. The first time I interviewed somebody that would have made me uncomfortable, don't make me uncomfortable anymore. Doesn't matter who it is now. I've interviewed enough people. Doesn't matter to me. So you really got to be able to understand you and stop pretending that you don't have the talent. If you tell me you don't have the talent to be good in sales or good in business, I tell you, you don't have the intestinal fortitude to work your ass off to do something. You won't give things up. You won't work hard. You won't believe in yourself, and you won't make sacrifices. So stop telling me it's a talent, because that's your way out. That's that whole, I would do it, it just takes talent. That's that old like Eeyore kind of deal. It's an old cartoon. Maybe you get freaked out. Like, I just don't know if I can do it. I'm pretty sure I'll fail if I try. There's some people that you know that sound just like that every day. People say, how you doing? I say, great. They say, man, that's good. You're always doing great. I said, if I wasn't, I wouldn't tell you. You're looking for me to help you, right? You're in my business. You're looking for me to mentor you, right? Yeah, okay. It would have helped if you got on the phone and told you the 3 or 5 or 7 things that aren't going right? No. Would you be motivated if I was like, I'm tell you what, I just don't know about today. I don't know if I can get through this thing. Don't even know. That's a skill to develop, by the way. Talk about developing your skills. That's one of the biggest skills people should develop. Their positive attitude. What a shocker. Everybody talks about it. All successful people discuss it. Every book worth reading talks about it. How to attain it. What to do to maintain it. There's attaining your attitude positively and then maintaining your attitude positively. Anybody can attain it for a minute, an hour, a day, maybe a week. What if you maintain it every day? Focus on what you can control. So when you start thinking about what we're discussing today, what is your blueprint? Like, when will you stop second guessing you? What is the opponent to your self-image? You. Your self-doubt. Their number one reason people have a low self-image is they let that negative voice in their mind talk them out of what they can do. It's not everybody. Everybody else chirping is everybody else chirping. When they say it and gets in your mind, you repeat it to yourself, that's when you're fucked. That's when you're in trouble. Because you repeated it to you. Because you verbalized it. If you go to any meeting, the guy or girl talking is getting the most out of it, they're the one speaking. I don't care who walks in the room and you go, man, that guy was so unbelievable. It's nothing like what you'll say to yourself. When he leaves, what will be the narrative you tell yourself about you and your ability? Stop your self-doubt. Stop second-guessing yourself. Please, it's painful. And it's going to lead you into a path of destruction. But it's unbelievable because we all want this clarity and discipline. And I'm like, okay, I need to be more disciplined. Sean, I got to get more disciplined. I just need more clarity in what I'm doing. Well, dude, if you don't feel good about you, you ain't going to have none of those. You sure as hell aren't going to have any discipline. You're not going to have any clarity. You need to feel good about you. You need to understand what you can accomplish. You need to believe in you as much as anybody else around you believes in themselves. When I walk into a room, I bring belief level. Belief level into what we're doing, what we're accomplishing, what we're trying to, what is in our way and how are we going to get there. I want to observe, pay attention, see who's there, see what strengths and weaknesses exist in that room. How can I help? What can I do? What can I do to make it better? Like, where am I? And I think you have to start to understand on this pick money journey, it's about maintaining, not just attaining. At the end of the day, what you need to figure out is, what are the 3 biggest reasons I'm not having the success I want right now? And of those 3 reasons, which one of those do I have control over? Which ones can I change? Which ones do I want to change? Which ones will I change? If you can't come up with clear, articulable goals, the number one reason people don't have clear goals is they don't have good self-belief, self-image. So for them to even think about their goals freaks them out because they don't even believe in themselves. Imagine me telling you to come up with a crazy good goal and you're like, dude, I don't even believe in myself. And at the end of the day, I promise you, somebody said to me the other day, what's the number one thing you should do as a dad? Good question. I said, well, the ultimate father is the Lord. And as a dad, I think our job is to point in the direction on a regular daily basis to our children so they know that that is the only one that can save you. Like, we can do what we do here on earth. We can do all that. But like, that's the deal. So when you look at my why, it's grounded in spirituality. So I'm kind of like, I'm like, dude, y'all don't really have a chance because, I'm locked in. And doesn't mean I'm perfect. Far from it. But I'm locked in. And I believe I know what my purpose is. Then I have clear goals. I feel good about me. The magic to feeling, talking, and acting positively is, can you do it when everything around you is falling apart? Because anybody can do it when everything's good. Can you do it? Can you be positive when the narrative around you and things happen in your life are telling you shouldn't be positive? Can you show up as a leader when you're hurting? Can you show up as a manager when you're hurting? Can you mentor somebody and put their needs ahead of yours for that period of time? Again, remember, great leaders put your needs equal to or above theirs. And once they've achieved a certain level of financial success, I believe the leaders are supposed to do that. I believe the leaders are supposed to say, you know what? I was trying to stay alive. I'm alive. I was trying to make sure I wasn't worried about money. I'm not worried about money. I was trying to get to a certain income level. Damn, I got there. And I think the mistake a lot of them make is, well, if I'm making this much money, I can make this much money a year. Or you can help that many people make $1 million a year. And there's probably a reward in there for you financially anyway with what you're doing. But even if there wasn't, who cares? Your purpose, how many people you impact around the world. Y'all be like the most obscure airport and some dude would be like, hey man, follow you on social media, thanks. Dude, that helped. I don't know the guy, I probably never see him again. Hey man, you talked about this in that video, dude, and I helped. It doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen every week. I don't do it because I want somebody to be like, hey, I saw your stuff. I want somebody to go, dude, you said something that helped me, man. I was in a tough spot. I was down and out. I seen that shit and it helped me through. Dude, that's a purpose. That's a purpose-driven life. Find out what your purpose is. And it has to be yours. So the struggle for me with some of this stuff is I can't, like when people are like, could you talk about this or talk about this? Or like, if you talk about this, more people talk about, I'm like, dude, but I don't have, I'm not passionate about that. I'm not going to. I'm just not. So nobody can tell you what yours is, how you're supposed, nobody can tell you that but you. If you're not the most passionate about you, who's supposed to be? If I'm watching you, are great salespeople, great leaders, not necessarily, and great leaders aren't great. No, not necessarily. But I'll tell you what, for those of you that may not like it, it was harder for you to be successful. It was harder for you in sales. It was harder for you recruiting. I was a guy where sales was easier for me. I've been a social worker, worked with abused and neglected children, was in some really, really difficult homes, conversations, complexes. Like, it was deep. So the conversation for life insurance is like, dude, that's easy. Recruiting, that's terrible. But I had crazy good results. I outworked everybody. So people look at me and be like, dude, what is he doing? I'm like, dude, I'm not even that good at it. They're like, yeah, but you recorded more people than anybody in the company the last, 15 the last 16 months. I'm like, I know. They're like, what do you do? Like, what do you tell them? I'm like, ask them to make some extra money outside what they're currently doing now. No, what's your sales funnel? What you doing on social media? And what are you paying for your ads? And who's doing and what are you boosting? I'm like, I don't spend any money. I just recruit every day, 7 days a week. That's all I do. I recruit 7 days a week, dude. And I outworked it. And I think that gained me more credibility because had it had just come, not a talent, but let's just say I had recruited for 2 years somewhere else. Let's just say like I was a recruiter and you're like, dude, he was a recruiter for 2 years. He kind of, developed his skill set. I was terrible at it. I recruit in front of anybody. I try to recruit I got rejected all the time when I was recruiting. But I had no problem. I did it right in front of everybody. And I think it put their mind at ease. So you need to decide, how are you going to lead? How are you going to have credibility? How are you going to find your why? Know what your budget is. What do I got for my business? Set your monetary goals, know your numbers, and develop your skills. If you can do those 5 things, it's going to make picking money a hell of a lot easier. Guys, I appreciate you for jumping on. Like, subscribe, share. I hope every week to give you information that helps you in your day-to-day life. Send it to somebody who needs to hear it. Thanks for your support. We'll see y'all next week. Same place, same time. Thank y'all.